Welcome back to Detroit's Morning Answer with John Anthony. I needed that break because I needed to calm down. I'm just flustered and frustrated with what we've had to deal with the last 4 years. And I know Michiganders feel the same way for the last 8 years. Joining us now is Senator Aric Nesbitt, who I have on good authority from Vance Patrick, Oakland County Republican Chairman, is a great guy. He serves as a Senate Republican leader and represents Michigan's 20th District. He's the minority vice chair of the Senate Government Operations Committee and has served in key leadership positions on finance, appropriations, energy, and regulatory reform throughout his career. He's known as a strong voice for fiscal responsibility, government accountability, and standing up for taxpayers. Senator Nesbitt is also officially a candidate for governor of Michigan in 2026. Today, we'll talk about the Flat Rock Dam, the state budget, the recent acquittal of the Trump electors, scandals at the MEDC, and what the governor's race could mean for the future of Michigan. Leader Nesbitt, welcome to Detroit's Morning Answer with John Anthony.
Hey, John, thanks for having me on, and thanks for covering the issues that matter to Michiganders, Michigan families, and hardworking folks around the state. It means a lot to have me on.
I really appreciate that. You know, let's start local with the Flat Rock Dam. I had an opportunity to go and MC a fundraiser for State Representative Jamie Thompson in Flat Rock a couple of weeks ago. Senator,
she's great, isn't she?
Oh, she is amazing.
A little pit bull.
Yes,
love her.
Always fired up too. But
yeah,
Senator,
well, I mean, this is what the lockdowns with COVID happened. Is you got some nice nurses like that are in office now and making the big fight. So I'm glad you're helping her out.
I really agree. You know, the Flat Rock Dam it's been a longstanding concern for both, not only I guess for both safety and economic impact. Where do things stand now, and what more could or should Lansing be doing to address it?
Well, as families and businesses are struggling to make it here in Michigan, Governor Whitmer's regulatory departments are showing up in towns across the state. I was actually in the northwest part of the state just the other day, and same issues in this town of these burdens of regulations that are grinding things to a halt. And so they're forcing these local communities to spend millions and millions of dollars to fix a problem that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And this is why Michigan is bleeding jobs, missing out on new investment that can help our state grow and give people the opportunity to actually make it here in Michigan, allow families to make it here in Michigan, small businesses owners to make it here in Michigan, and lower the local taxes. You've got to lower the cost of government if you're going to lower taxes to be able to make a living here in Michigan. And so when I'm governor, that's coming to an end. We're going to rein in these bureaucratic departments, cut out waste, fraud, and abuse, cut out wasteful spending, and use the money to help people make it in Michigan, again, by lowering the cost of government, lowering taxes. In the end of the day, that's how you compete and win in the 21st century.
Yeah, you know, when I was down there in Michigan, I met a lot of people. One of them was Doris Sanders Hill. She has a bed and breakfast down there. When you look at it, and almost everybody I talked to brought up the Flat Rock Dam issue. And I think one of the reasons why is because many of these residents, they see the dam as part of the community's identity. How should lawmakers, when you think about this, how should lawmakers weigh heritage and local impact when deciding where to invest limited infrastructure dollars?
Well, it's all about common sense. It's how do you get back to just basic common sense and saying what's needed, what's not needed, and how do you help working families, small business owners around the state to help them make it here in Michigan. And that's going to be part of the challenge, going forward, is that unfortunately with the state's bureaucracy in Lansing, that there's just not that much common sense left to be able to understand that if you're forcing local governments and local small business owners to spend millions or tens of millions of dollars to fix a problem that doesn't exist. I hear it from farmers. I hear it from manufacturers. I hear it from small business owners across the state that they're being forced to spend millions of dollars on problems that don't exist.
Yeah, you talked about Lansing. Now, the budget negotiations, let's pivot to the state budget. The budget negotiations, they continue to drag on. Who, in your view, I know I've talked to a lot of state reps. I've talked to the Speaker Hall about this. Who, in your view, has been holding up the process? Do you think this is a case of leadership gridlock, or are there just specific demands that have become the sticking point, or the inhibitor for not allowing this state budget to get passed?
Our roads are falling apart, especially our local roads. You see it all the time as people repair windshields and have to repair their axles and tires. Our kids are falling behind in schools. 3 out of 4 fourth graders can't read at grade level. Families and businesses are struggling to even make ends meet here in Michigan. And yet, Lansing Democrats are still holding the budget hostage to protect the waste, fraud, and abuse in the budget. Continue down the pathway of increasing taxes. Last year, they increased the state's income tax. And they've had 7 years to do what they promised instead of investing in things that help people make it in Michigan. They're wasting money on crooked backdoor deals and nonsense. And so when I'm governor, that's going to stop quickly. We're going to go through the budget line by line. And if it doesn't do anything to help the people make it in Michigan, it's going to get eliminated. No more waste, no more fraud, no more abuse. This is what needs to end. We need to invest in our local roads. We need to make sure our kids are able to make it here in Michigan by being able to read, write, do arithmetic, and make sure that our high school kids are able to be either career ready or college ready. Enough with this one-size-fits-all mandates from Lansing. We just got to get back to basics to allow working families, small business owners to make it in Michigan, lower the cost of living, lower the cost of government, to lower taxes, lower the cost of insurance, lower the cost of energy. That's just common sense.
Yeah. I think COVID really crippled how state budgets are done because of the influx of federal funds. And Michigan has leaned on those one-time federal funds for several years. What happens when that money dries up, which it has? And do you think Lansing is being honest with taxpayers about the longer, big-term picture of the state finances and how we have to budget out in the future?
What working family has seen a nearly 50% increase in their pay?
Wow.
I don't see it. In the last 5 years, state government's growing by nearly 45%. And yet our local roads are falling apart. 3 out of 4 fourth graders can't read at grade level. And our high school kids aren't ready for careers or college. The waste, fraud, and abuse, no accountability, no transparency, continues to drive Lansing and the bureaucracy. Hell, only 1 out of 5 state workers we figure are even showing up to work right now.
Yeah. The waste, fraud, and abuse that was caught up with that, $5 billion in waste, fraud, abuse, ghost payrolling. I mean, those are huge issues here in Michigan, right?
Well, but this goes back to COVID 5 years ago. Where's the accountability? $8 billion was sent in fraudulent payments on unemployment. Who's paying that bill? We are.
Yeah.
Taxpayers are. Nobody went to jail. Nobody went to prison. Nobody got fired. The accountability is lacking, and that's why I'm running for governor. That's why I stood up, is that there needs to be accountability. There needs to be transparency. We need to eliminate the waste, fraud, and abuse. Just look at the scandals at the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and yet Governor Whitmer's still flying around with them on taxpayer-supported junkets around the world. Well, there's no budget deal in Lansing to fix our roads and fix our schools.
Wow. You brought up the MEDC. You have long criticized government picking winners and losers. What reforms need to be put in place to restore the public trust, not just for the MEDC, but other government institutions as well?
Well, I think first off, unfortunately, Michigan's leading the nation on unemployment instead of finding ways to actually help people make it in Michigan, help workers make it in Michigan, help small business owners make it in Michigan. This governor, Whitmer, is taking taxpayer-supported international trips with her cronies that are accused of stealing from taxpayers. I mean, Democrats just a few years ago blew through a $9 billion surplus, eliminated all oversight with state departments, and now we are seeing why. Instead of investing in our local roads, in improving our schools so our kids can read, the things that would help make people actually make it here in Michigan, they're investing in themselves and doing paybacks and kickbacks. I'm going to be governor to end this waste, fraud, and abuse, and that has been holding our state back. We're going to put that money into making sure everyone is able to make it to Michigan, and that starts with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, where they sent away a $20 million grant to a buddy of Governor Whitmer. Wow. Hasn't created one job, six-figure salaries, $10,000 first-class tickets, $5,000 coffee makers being spent through an agency that's supposed to help create jobs. And this is, I think, corruption at the worst. So we need to start from basics and go ahead. I mean, this is our version of USAID.
Yeah.
And MEDC.
And Senator, if you're just joining the show, we're talking to Senator Aric Nesbitt. He's also was one of the first to say that he was running for governor, and now she's jet setting around the world. Who pays for that, Senator?
Yeah, I mean, this is, when you're an elected official, it's all supported by taxpayers or businesses here in Michigan.
Yeah,
and you look at it. Let's get back to basics of saying, if we're going to compete and win in the 21st century, if we're going to attract employers, attract job creators, attract workers, what do we got to do?
Right.
We got to lower the cost of living, lower the cost of government, lower the cost of energy, lower the cost of insurance, so that people can make it here. I was talking to a guy the other day that just moved a few years ago from Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And Tennessee has much lower energy rates, no income tax, no state property taxes. And I was talking to him, and he goes, I'm making about the same as I made in Tennessee. My house is valued about the same, use about the same amount of energy, and yet I'm paying, if you add up what I'm paying on insurance,
wow,
on electricity, on taxes, I'm paying about $5,000 more
Sheesh.
per year to live in Michigan than to live in Tennessee.
Wow.
That's wrong. That needs to change. We need to make it so we lower the cost of living for working families, lower the cost of government, lower the cost of energy, so we can compete and win in the 21st century.
And you know what, Leader Nesbitt, there's nothing wrong with her traveling, but at a time when the damn roads aren't fixed, and when there's no budget, you should say, you know what, we're not going anywhere until we get this done, because as the leader of a state, you do have to go out into different countries to build relationships, to bring industry to your state. I have no problem with that. But when the people's work is not done, you should stay here and complete the people's work. Is that something is that going to be one of the core campaign messages that you bring forth?
Yeah, I mean, as people are struggling here in Michigan, and we need to finish a budget to make sure that our kids are staying in the classroom to learn, that our roads are getting fixed. And we show that budgets are about priority. The money's there to be able to fix our local roads, to fix our water and wastewater infrastructure. The money's there to make sure that our kids are reading at grade level, that we eliminate DEI and get back to the ABCs at our schools.
Wow.
But this takes leadership.
Yeah.
And we're one of only 2 states right now that does not have a budget in place.
Wow.
Let's get to work. Let's get it done. Let's make sure we prioritize working families in this state, small business owners, our farmers, our teachers, our law enforcement officials, and say that we have their back.
Yeah. I know it sounds like you're on the road, because I know you're a busy person. So I got one final question for you, sir. Well, first of all, why now? Why jump into the governor's race right now? And what will be those core messages that you want to relate to the voters of Michigan?
Well, I mean, we're at a turning point right now in Michigan. We're at a turning point that I believe this is truly our time to save the state. And that's why I'm running for governor, because I want everyone to be able to make it in Michigan. And you look at it a few years ago. For me, it really began with these COVID lockdowns a few years ago. My wife was pregnant in 2020 at the end. We won all these online Michigan petitions, and then the governor shut us down again in November. And I wasn't allowed to go into that OBGYN's office appointment with my wife.
Wow.
And I'm sitting in the car, and I'll never forget the text saying from my wife, Tricia, that she had a miscarriage. And she was experiencing the worst thing a parent can go through, losing a child. And the Democrats said I could not be there, holding her hands, comfort her, as her husband, as the father.
Yeah.
I'll never forgive this governor for that, for what she did to my family. And what she did, my story's not unique. There's so many stories like that around the state of lost grandparents. I mean, we cannot let this happen again.
Yeah.
Never again. And it's not just about COVID. People can't make it in Michigan anymore. Our businesses cannot make it in Michigan. Our farmers cannot make it in Michigan. Our families cannot make it in Michigan. Our kids aren't able to read at grade level. And the next generation, they're making their homes in other states. And yet we have a beautiful state. Our lakes, our lake shores. I mean, Indiana's grown by 900,000 people the last 25 years. And believe me, Michigan's a much nicer state than Indiana.
It is.
I've been there.
Yeah, so have I.
I married a Hoosier.
Good Lord.
But if we want people to be able to make it in Michigan, we have to make Michigan work for them. And that's about making sure businesses and farmers and workers can make it here in Michigan. It's making sure that the families can make it here in Michigan. That's really all about getting back to basics and making sure that our next generation can make it here.
Wow.
And so are we getting back to basics to saying that government's accountable to the people so they can make it here? Or are we all about empowering the bureaucrats in Lansing to micromanage our lives and that are pushing out capital investment? Yeah. Capital follows the path of least resistance. And what this governor has done over the last 7 has put up resistor after resistor. Repeal right to work, increase the state's income tax, increase the cost of energy, increase the cost of insurance, continuing to increase prices in the size and scope of government, and that's pushing investment, workers, and small business owners to other states instead of here.
Well, Senate Leader Aric Nesbitt, let me tell you something. As someone who's lost their kid, my only son, who was 18, to suicide during COVID, I truly understand the hurt, the pain, and that's one of the reasons why it's one of the planks of your platform that I really love is the student mental health. I really do hope you're able to push that through because it's so important. And I really and truly appreciate the time that you spent here today on Detroit's Morning Answer.
Well, thanks for covering this, and God bless you. I mean, I can't imagine 18 years, and this is what they did.
Yeah,
this is what they did. Is they told some people were critical, some people were essential, some people weren't. They hid people behind. You couldn't say goodbye to your grandparents.
Yeah,
and that was and you took away graduations, you took away class, you put a lock on the schoolhouse door, and we need to put parents back in the driver's seat of their kids' education. They should have a real choice in where their kids. We need to trust parents instead of trusting the government. We're celebrating 250 years as a country next year. Yeah. I believe in America. There's no greater hope for mankind than the United States of America.
Senator, one of
the youngest countries in the world, but an old constitution, and we need to keep it there for the next generation. People can visit me at NesbittForGovernor.com. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all those other places. It's Aric with an A, A-R-I-C, Nesbitt. It's a little different spelling, but middle of 5 kids all started with A's.
Like all my kids are J's and K's, so I definitely understand that.
It's either going to be Aric or Erica with an A, and I'm sure glad Mom went with Aric.
Leader Aric Nesbitt, thanks so much for joining us on Detroit's Morning Answer. It truly was a breath of fresh air, and I keep telling people the leadership and the folks that are running for office here get it, and it's always about you, the people. Michiganders, whenever you have somebody that's elected or running for office and the message is about you, not them, not more government power, perk up your ears and listen because, Leader Nesbitt, you are truly one of those individuals. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you so much. God bless you.
All right. That was Senator Aric Nesbitt, Republican leader in the Senate. He's a committee veteran and candidate for governor in 2026. We appreciate his time and perspective on where he believes Michigan stands today and where it's heading. Senator, thank you for joining us. That was amazing, Paul. I'm telling when people focus on the people, it's important, and you really truly and I thought he struck that chord where he was able to, Paul, add a personal story to what fuels his fight, because people only want to know your why. What is your why? Why are you running? Because the what, the where, the when, the why, the how, All that can be laid out. But when you have a strong why, because that's what people want to hear, Paul, they want to know why you're running. And I thought he laid that out perfectly. I really do. And, I know there are other candidates that are going to be running for governor, and I want to have them on. And I've said not just the Republicans. I'll have Democrats on who want to run for governor and for any statewide office, or if you're running for a state rep, you're running for mayor, I'll have you on. I want to be able to have that conversation with you. You heard me. That was a policy-driven conversation. Those are the type of conversations I think voters need to hear. Policy-driven conversations, not personality. The campaigns will take care of the personality aspects of elections. I want people to know where people stand on the issues, because it's important that voters, when they go into that ballot box, they know what the people that whose name is on that ballot, they know where they stand, and they know what they've been through as a voter. And you cannot lose sight of what you've gone through in the last 4 years. Chief Stevenson, former chief, U.S. Capitol Police, coming up next. He's written a new book, Courage Under Fire, the definitive count from inside the Capitol on January 6th. Don't go anywhere. This is sure to be good.